Assalamu alaikum. I'm here in New York City with the man of the moment, Asad Umar, whose meetings with the IMF will become talk of town as soon as he lands back in Pakistan. So today, Asad, we're going to ask you about how your meetings with the IMF went and if you've got any breaking news to share with us. We'll also talk about the broader outlook of the economy, and then we'll talk about the personal toll that this job is taking on you. So how late are you sitting at the office? You messaged me in the morning at 5:30 a.m. today. How are your wife and your boys dealing with the pressure of seeing you criticized so publicly? And what are you doing to just relax and take a step back and have fun, because you need a clear head to be able to make the decisions that you're making? So let's actually begin with the IMF. How are your discussions with the IMF, and is there any breaking news that you have to share with us?
I'm not sure whether it's breaking news, but the meetings went well. We essentially have a closure at the policy level, and in approximately a couple of weeks' time, within the next couple of weeks, there should be the staff level mission going back to Pakistan to close all out the technical details. As I had said earlier, that we are very close to the landing zone. Well, we have landed now. So
we've been hearing this negotiation speak for a few weeks, though, that we're very close. Yet it's not done yet. So is this part of our negotiation strategy? Are both sides playing hardball? Is PTI trying to protect the Pakistani people from some difficult measures? Are the Chinese loans and disclosing them the issue? What's the core?
No, the Chinese loans, there was a lot of talk about the Chinese debt which had come in. And the first time when the mission had come in, right on the very first day, we shared the data on the Chinese debt. There is nothing really there to hide. It's about 10% maybe of the public debt of Pakistan. It's at exceptionally good terms. It's long tenor. So no, after that we didn't hear anything about the Chinese debt. The discussion which had been going on were the policy measures. What needs to be done to be able to deal with the extreme balance of payment crisis that Pakistan was facing, while not crash landing the economy. And there was a difference of opinion there between us and IMF, and that's what was taking long. And effectively what has happened is, over the last 3 months, as the impact of the measures that we had already taken, because we were not just saying no to IMF, we were going ahead and taking the decisions that we thought were necessary to deal with the situation, the results started to show up. And as the results showed up, the IMF people could also see those results. And I think that has played a major part in closing the gap. But as you said earlier, we have been saying for the last few weeks that we had become very close. Well, now it's not just close, now we have reached a policy level closure.
And can you share with us exactly, any contours of the agreement in terms of, particularly on the exchange rate or on energy subsidies, in terms of which direction things are going to go?
Well, the direction is very clear. That was never in doubt. You could not be running 1.7% of GDP losses on electricity and gas sector. It's simply not sustainable. So that had to be closed. Similarly, fiscal deficit, which is running at 6.5%, 6.6%, is not sustainable. Your current account deficit, which was running at a monthly and at annualized pace of $24 billion, $2 billion a month in the 3 months before the elections were held, is just simply running into bankruptcy. So the direction is clear that you have to close these gaps, but we want to go beyond that. Survival is not good enough. We have to make the structural reforms which take us into a path of sustainable growth, where you're not going through these repeated cycles that Pakistan has been facing.
A big self-made man, and you've made your own money, you've made your own reputation, you've made your own brand of politics. Is it difficult to be a self-made man and then go to the IMF and other countries and ask for money?
Oh, it is tough. It is tough. I'm telling you, from a personal point of view, I remember we had a meeting with a visiting dignitary from one of the friendly countries. And the military secretary says to me later, he says, "Sir, I was looking at your body language. You had so much difficulty speaking." And I said, "Wasim, you know what was going through my mind? I'm the finance minister of a country of 217 million people. We are a nuclear power. And I'm sitting and asking this guy, this small little country." So yes, that's totally against my nature. But you have to do what you have to do for the country.
Absolutely. Asad, I want to talk a little bit about devaluation in particular. You know, within the neoliberal economic paradigm, it was the right thing to do from an economic point of view. Imports are sharply reacting and going downwards. What is the status of pickup in exports? And what sort of time lag are you seeing on that?
Okay, the exports have not responded yet. Theory has it, the J curve suggests that when you do big devaluations, exports actually initially go down a little bit. They haven't gone down, but they've barely gone up. When I talked to the textile boys in the last few months, they had all told me that exports increase will come and they will start from April. Because as they said, there is seasonal buying. The buying for the winter is already done. The things are committed. And April, the new season will start, and that's when you'll start to see a pickup in exports. So this is the month. The time has arrived. Let's see, and we hope that the export numbers are better for April.
Can you describe what your typical day looks like? So how long are you working these days? And I think you and your wife are also long distance. How is that working out for you personally in terms of how this job is mapping out for you?
Yeah, so mostly what happens is, although my wife's teaching calendar is ending, so hopefully we'll be spending a lot more time together. But otherwise, the way it had been working is either I'd go back for the weekend to home, or she would come over to Islamabad because I couldn't travel every weekend even. So you're right. So how does my day go? Get up in the morning, by about 9:15, leave home to go to the office. You work through, there are no lunch breaks. Either I become rude, so I have to eat my sandwich during a meeting. Some meeting has to.
The chai coming, you were like, no, the chai must come.
I become used to this now. So either it is a sandwich while I drive from Q Block to the PM Secretariat for a meeting, or it has to be some during a meeting. I would normally, these days, I get home after 9, quick meal, half an hour on the phone with my wife, who gives me the update of what's going on in the world. I have no clue what's going on. So she brings me up to date of what's going on. And then back to clearing all the messages which have accumulated during the day on the phone, because I haven't had the chance to look at it, or barely have a chance to look at it. So clearing all the messages, and then you basically just drop off to sleep. I used to like watching these short political satire, US political satire, before I went to sleep. It's just, for some reason, a lot of fun. I don't even have time for that now.
How are you keeping your head clear, making so many big decisions to come?
It's okay. A number of people have commented, they come and meet me at 9 o'clock in the office, and they'll ask me, why the hell are you so fresh? I guess the magnitude of what you're dealing with, it's so substantial that by itself provides you energy. Because what you're working on is so consequential, there's so many lives which will be affected by it. So you draw sustenance and energy from that, because you're trying to make sure that you can do the best, and all these millions of people whose lives will be affected are affected positively. So that gives you a lot of energy. But the thing that I miss the most is I'm used to exercising regularly. And because of my schedule, I just am not able to do that. As a result, my energy level has fallen, and more people have been warning me of potential burnout.
Let's talk about revenue collection for a moment. There's been a big debate about FBR missing targets. And you know, we're hearing a lot of noise around the amnesty scheme coming back. What is your point of view on when our revenue collection can improve and enhance significantly? And are there any new or breakthrough ideas other than what's already been tried before that we're thinking of doing?
Yeah, so FBR revenues are definitely a concern, and we clearly need to improve the way FBR works. However, to be fair to FBR, the revenue targets that have been missed in this year have been driven to a large extent by one of two policy decisions. Either it is because the most urgent need was to bring the balance of payment crisis down, right? So the demand compression measures suppressed demand. That's what they're supposed to do, and imports went down. 40% of Pakistan's revenue is import-based. So when the imports shrunk, that had a negative impact. The second thing that happened was that because we were going through this adjustment problem, and because we feel passionately for the people of the country, especially those who are the most vulnerable, we mitigated some of the price increases that took place on oil, and the average tax structure on oil was reduced to reduce the impact of the increasing oil prices in the international market, and that by itself has had an impact of about 100 billion rupees. So a combination of these factors, but long term, what do we want to do? To make FBR a more effective machinery, a more professional machinery. Three broad areas. One, separation of policy from administration. Already done the legislation for that, tax policy unit being set up. Second, technology. That's where the answer is going to be.
Technology will primarily help from preventing corruption or mismanagement. The good part is that we don't seem to have that at the top levels of the government. Or are you feeling that technology will actually help facilitate the taxpayers?
Yeah. No, so we believe that one of the reasons why the taxpayers are not paying, one of the reasons is because it isn't easy. And therefore making it simpler will increase the compliance level also. So the other thing is that the more the technology gets used for payment systems in the country, the more documented the economy is going to become.
Are you diagnosing the problem accurately though here, which is to say that the simplification is the challenge versus saying that there's no political will and culture of tax paying?
That's why I emphasize one of the reasons.
Okay.
And I'd already said this to you, that one of the uses of technology that we want to make is by identifying the sectors and the individuals. So just to give you specifics of what we've done, we've shared the data that FBR had. Nadra had a lot of data about individuals. So between these two databases, we have a lot of information about all Pakistanis. So what they're going to start receiving in the next few weeks, they're going to get a letter from FBR, which is going to say, gentleman or lady, this is your lifestyle. You took so many business class trips outside Pakistan. You own these cars. These are the properties that you have bought. And by the way, this is all the tax that you have paid. So what's going on?
Given this context, आपको क्या लगता है कि बुनियादी मसला अभी economic management में क्या है? Is it the fact that it's a new team, we're still getting experienced? Is it the fact that Pakistan's core problems were were that bad and will take time to get out? Or is it the fact that the political communication and messaging, the fact that expectations itni high thi and we're not able to deliver on them immediately, is the source of the problem? What is the core challenge that you face? Is it political or is it economic?
No. At the economic level, obviously, Pakistan has recurrently gone through these problems. I mean, no economy or no country goes to IMF for a program unless there is dire stress, right? The fact that this will be the 13th IMF program in 30 years means there is something drastically wrong with the economy and persistently so. And even in that, when we were having that original argument I was telling you about, that we had a difference of opinion with IMF, the mission chief rightly pointed out that you have never faced a balance of payment crisis of this magnitude. What you are facing is existential. So even by Pakistani standards, the economic challenge is enormous, absolutely, was even bigger, but even now is enormous. And therefore, so economics is a challenge for sure. The politics is also a challenge. And why it has become a challenge? Why do you see this absolute onslaught in the first few months of the government? Normally, people don't even take a new government so seriously. One is what you said, the expectation, Imran Khan and Naya Pakistan. There is that element. But the second element is what is happening to our political opposition and what is happening to the power elite of Pakistan. Political opposition is not looking at political failure. They're looking at criminal sentences, jail terms, assets, property being confiscated. So for them, this is an existential survival battle going on right now. So maybe they would have been tired after a long election campaign and would have taken 6 months off, but they don't have that opportunity. So they're fighting, literally fighting for their survival. And it's, as I said, given what is at stake for them personally, this is a no-holds-barred fight. So every trick in the book, legal or illegal, is going to get thrown at you. Similarly, the tabdili that people are saying has not arrived, is obviously arrived to an extent where the existing power elite of Pakistan feels seriously threatened, where they see Pakistan is going to move towards a way of working which they're not used to, which is democratic, which is transparent, which is accountable to the people, where transactions don't happen or businesses do not succeed because they've got great contacts in the PM Secretariat or the Q Block, where you have to go find customers, be innovative, take risks to be successful. These are serious. So the power structure of Pakistan is feeling the tectonic plates shift under them, right? So a combination of these two is the noise that you see. But the people of Pakistan, say, if you ask them, they're worried, right? But they're neither hopeless, nor are they saying that that what is going on is not necessarily in their interest.
I think it's a very powerful argument, but maybe it's not breaking through the clutter कि जो वाकई में जो अफरा तफरी फैली हुई है, it's basically because PTI is in an act of revolution challenging the power structures of the economy for such a long time. But that's not how it's usually being translated down. It's usually the narratives about महंगाई, about austerity. Why do you think we're failing to communicate कि we're actually taking on?
So that is definitely something which is possible, that we could have communicated better and more. I just told you the schedule that I go through. I'm not sure when I am supposed to be communicating, but collectively, including myself, probably can do a better job of communication. We have recently started to put some thought behind it in terms of how do we handle, because frankly, while in hindsight I'm telling you this is what we should have expected with what we were doing, perhaps we didn't. Perhaps we did not realize that there will be the most concerted campaigns. On a daily basis, fake news is printed. Daily basis.
But as opposition to jail काट रही है ना और बेले काट रही है. They are not. I mean, field खाली है. Your opposition is not coming after.
No.
They're not coming. I mean, अगर PTI जैसी तगड़ी opposition PTI को मिलती ना, PTI is a phenomenal opposition party. तो फिर मतलब that's when you would be really challenged.
Then you're missing what is going on right now, because everybody fights with their strengths. PTI's strength are the people of Pakistan. So it's visible. You see jalsas of hundreds of thousands of people. The other parties, their strength is money, stealth, okay? and frankly, there is a confluence of forces here, which is, as I said, perhaps that's our mistake. We should have expected that confluence to have taken place and acted more proactively to deal with it.
Last question. Jab, when you are lying on bed alone at night and thinking about the next morning, what are the thoughts that are keeping you up? Or put differently, agar aap dua मांग रहे हैं अल्लाह मियां से, so what are you asking for? What's really at the heart of what goes on when you're on your own time?
So other than the fact कि ExxonMobil should strike oil, अच्छा मैं तो बताऊँ रात को सोते हुए जो है ना मैं इतना exhaust हुआ था उस वक्त तो frankly मैं सो जाता हूँ. You have to experience that sometime. A poor old man who will hold you, hold your hand in his and look you in the eyes and say, "Aap par bharosa hai." And you get up, literally, you get up at 5 o'clock and his face is in your mind. And that's what you want to see. You want to be able to
inspire you?
No, I don't get scared for a very simple reason. Because I know that success is not in my control. That is going to be determined by Allah. What is in my control is the ability to put in that effort and have that desire and the passion to be able to do my best.